Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frank's retirement home, where we are watching some more quarterfinals in the form of Vibe Tribe versus Gunshow Showguns. Two teams that are both kind of middle of the pack, neither team bottom, neither team top, but still very solid contenders in their own right. And this is for a spot in the semi, so a very important match. My name is Sparked, you've seen before. We also have Ruler of Men and Chair 2, you've seen him before. And we've
I don't
got
think they've
Wolfie
seen me
on the
before.
thing.
I don't know.
Yeah, and you're a new face. We never know. But these teams, you've done a lot of casting for the Walker division, so you know some of these players. What do you expect from this match going into it?
Honestly, looking at these teams, a lot of the time you'll see Dipspit really taking a commanding presence over on that side. And on the other side, Rogue Warrior just comes out and puts on great performances. So,
Yeah,
I'm excited for both of these teams, honestly.
yeah. I mean, Rogue has been an exceptional mid throughout the season. What may I say, the Danzaboro main himself. I don't think I've seen that guy play anything else if it's been left open. And ISO has been a really strong contender for the jungle role this season. It's been putting in a lot of work. As we look into the bans, we are seeing some of those Bastet and the Ratataska bans coming out, making sure that's not played in either jungle. But the early on bans that I'm not too sure about, that's the Xbal and the Cernanos. Not two bans you regularly see in the top three.
Yeah, certainly missing out on a lot of these, generally high priority bans in, Athena, Chernobog. There's a lot of the more meta gods that are open,
Speaking of the
as
devil,
we see Athena being
there's the
picked
Athena.
up.
Yeah, Morgan the Phase and Expectable Band. The Tyr is always an annoying character to go against, and if you know someone can play Tyr very well, it's definitely a scary one to go up against. But this does give Vibe Tribe that Athena ban for Miss Curly, so definitely a valuable pick. And then on the other side, we see the Danza, no surprises there in the slightest, but also picking up the Geb nice and early. Great thing to do into Athena taunts. Get a nice little shield, give them a little bit of safety, but Cataclysm's a good initiator for the rest of the team as well. We just have yet to see who that backline is going to be to finish off. But this still leaves a lot of good options available. You've still got a lot of mids that are going to be prioritized. You see a lot of Scyllars, we see a lot of Raijans, whatever people want to kind of do, it's going to be worth it. But we are seeing the Izanami being hovered on the side of Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, Izanami Athena is a very strong lane. Just great clear, great poke, just going to be running at you, especially, when you're into a Geb who's one of the lowest pressure supports that you can
Yeah,
pick up. So,
yeah,
if that
Danzigeb
Izanami gets
not going to have
locked in.
Danzigeb not going to have a lot of early pressure clear, but the Athena is kind of a given.
Yeah,
we
should
do.
definitely have pressure over there. Sun Wukong, always a solid pick. Get your Soul Leader, get your Blue Stone, and then just build tank and, do 500 damage with your Cudgel for no reason.
Never mind the damage aspect, just staying alive in those inopportune times. The amount of times we see Wukong just living at 1 HP because of Somersault Cloud, going into the air, just being a nuisance and doing a bit disruption. But here's a bit of a shock, because not a character you see all the time. That's a Bellona going to the either could be the solo or could be the jungle. We don't know. We've seen Amma jungle a lot, so this won't surprise me. This is Bellona jungle, but this is more than likely Bellona solo, but not a character that we see too often, not too prominent in the meta. Just because attack-based warriors don't do too strong in the current situations.
Yeah, definitely. We did see a little bit of the Bellona in one of this week's sets. I want to say, I can't remember exactly which game, but I think we saw 2 games in a row on different sides. So certainly getting played, but not necessarily the top of the meta.
Yeah, but we are going into the next round of the bans. We're going to see the Baba Yaga banned out from Gunshow, the Thanatos taken away by Vibe Tribe, still leaving it 2 slots on either side, or the Raijin also got banned out. I missed that one. Looks like the Rogue doesn't want to pick up the characters himself, doesn't want to give them the options coming out, because realistically, Gunshow gets the first pick outside of these bans, so you could take one of those characters if you wanted. So we could see a different drive coming out. Maybe we see an Agni. But the Vibe Tribe are going to think about their 5th ban. That's going to be a Merlin.
Yeah, a lot of mages. While both teams still have to pick one. Still a couple of decent characters on the board for sure. Like you're talking about, Agni is so incredibly potent towards that late game. Just drop a bomb stun over the wall and you do, 800 damage for nothing.
Yeah, especially with a Geb available. You get a shockwave up on the thing and then just free bombs. But we are going to see the Apois being taken. Now, this does raise some questions as to whether the placement of the characters are, because if this is an Arpois solo, that means it would be a Bellona jungle, but if this is a Bellona solo, this is an Arpois mid. And Arpois mid doesn't have the same survivability that an Arpois solo does, especially with, the recent nerfs. So, depending on where this goes, this could be a bit of a cheeky pickup. And if Rogue's piloting it, this could be a sleeper pick, honestly.
Yeah, it could definitely be a sleeper. I mean, we saw Hopwash made just a little bit. I mean, he still kind of suffers from, hey, there's like a million entrances to mid, and if you gank me, I just die because I don't have movement. Especially dealing with a Thor Scylla, just one wall away from death at all times if he is in that mid lane, and even in solo going to struggle with that Handful of Dawn, so going to have to be very careful regardless of where that goes.
Yeah, I mean, Thor definitely a very strong jungle, has been prominent forever long because of the semi-global ultimates, just allowing you to just dunk on someone for free. We did see a Scylla hover first for the mid laner, but they opted to go for the Vulcan instead. Once again, kind of same vibe as Scylla. You have secure in terms of the ultimate. It takes a little bit of time to get there compared to other securing ornaments like Coco Can or Scylla, but does a lot of good poke damage. The meatball is going to be very disruptive into their backline, but you have the confirmability from the Athena. So this is a very solid draft on their side. Meanwhile, the Gunshow, they're going to take their jungle last, which is going to be the Fenrir.
Yeah, looking into that Opwash mid, definitely going to struggle into, Thor, Vulcan, Athena, but they're able to make it to that late game. The amount of pressure he has on either a siege or a siege defense is unparalleled. Drop the crypts, say, hey, look, you cannot go here. You will lose all of your health. So, not a bad pick, just a pick that you have to kind of play around, And with a really defensive guardian like that Geb, with the Cataclysm, with the Shockwave, with the Cleanse, certainly have the tools available to make that pick work.
Yeah, and it's a slightly different thing than I expected. That's going to be a Rogue Warrior in solo. Instead of the mid that I was kind of expecting, we actually have fried ice cream in the mid for a change. So a bit of a different lineup, but I think this is kind of what they ran last week in the previous season of the regular season. So they still have some comfortability with this draft in terms of the players. Just see how it plays out with the actual God draft. But going into this match, is there anything that you think is going to be very standout as to what teams need to do to kind of win these? Because neither team really has great pick potential. They're all kind of all team fight characters.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, realistically, Gunshow's method of really breaking down Vibe Tribe is going to be using that Fenrir ult, using that Ragnarok to just pull one unlucky person that doesn't have beads into the team, picking them off, and then looking for the fight after. But at the same
Yeah,
time, you have the Anvil of Dawn into the Defender of Olympus on the Athena, so able to really just throw down a ton of damage, a ton of mobility across the map. So
yeah.
definitely going to be a game of words.
I didn't even clock the double global. Athena being that omnipresent potential, definitely going to be valuable. Do you think the Fenrir is going to be building more tankier into this comp instead of going for like full brutalized damage? He's going to go into more like the stun of binding and just play as a setup character for his team, even though you've got that Geb.
I would not be upset to see him go tankier. Some of those items like, Breastplate of Valor, Rune Forged Hammer, those items get so much value, but they're just kind of overlooked because people are just looking to get as much damage as they can out of their picks, and that's not wrong. But at the same time, like, these gods are versatile. Fenrir
Yeah.
is a top tier joust assassin because he just plays tanky. So there's different ways to play these gods, and I love seeing Fenrir hybrid.
Yeah, I mean, Fenrir is one of the most versatile jungles in the game, realistically, because of what we said. You can go full damage if you want to. You can be a setup character. You can just be a bruiser. He's got so many options. Same as like a Nishar, effectively. Nishar object, I think, has more overall because of crit. You don't really see crit Fenrir as much.
Used to back in the day, season 8. All
Yeah,
the pros are running it. Johnny had 3 MMR capped accounts with just crit Fenrir jungle.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those gods that can be very obnoxious if you don't have a team to deal with it. But luckily, the Vibe Tribe do have a lot of means of cancelling that Brutalize. You've got Taunt, you've got Tiger Stun, you've got the knock up from the Meatball. It's just
Stun from wall, yeah.
Yeah, stun from wall. Thor in general is good into Fenrir, unless Fenrir is able to stop that hammer escape. That's going to be the kind of key factor, because if Thor's able to get away with the hammer, Fenrir is not going to be able to chase as hard as he can. He's going to have to use all his mobility to try and get away, because easiest way to shut down Thor, cut off his mobility. The second you cut off that mobility, that Thor is going to be useless, which is why you never want to play a Thor into a Ganesh, because it's such an easy shutdown. So, how ISO is going to play this, I want to see him play kind of aggressive towards these side lanes and try and really put pressure everywhere so we can start having some more rotational power, especially with a Vulcan, because if you see a Vulcan will come out of nowhere, you're going to be terrified for your life.
Yeah, definitely. Thor certainly needs to get up and online early, and going for that Jotun's build, grabbing that mace first item certainly makes me hopeful that he's going to, be building that 40% CDR and ulting on cooldown.
Freaky taking a large amount of damage just going for that early poke, gets shredded by the Vibe Tribe team, not realizing that it's a Nami who doesn't care about the wave because she can hit you too. So that's a very early pop for some of the relics there, but good taunt, 2-man, they might see first blood, but Freaky is going to walk away. They're prioritizing the wave. You do like to see it. No one wants to get too aggressive early on and get that first blood taken away, because that 500 gold could mean the difference between a win in a fight or a loss.
Yeah, certainly could, and just the pressure like we were talking about, Geb provides a wet paper towel in terms of clear early game. Izanami, like a nuclear bomb in that early game, just going to shred that wave down, so not surprised that the lane's kind of just getting controlled by the Vibe Tribe right now.
Yeah, and they recognize this and they're calling over their good old friend the Fenrir. The doggo is in wait, but I think the Vibe Tribe know with some early warding on the map. Wards win games, everyone knows it. So Fenrir is going to try and take some farm instead, but there could be a bit of aggression going on as they fight over that gold buff. But meanwhile, Thor's going to go for a reverse gank on the right side. Is Rogue going to be fine? He is. A good dash comes out. Looks like everyone just had a bit of a failed attempt in the gank, and the looks like Victor actually stole the shield buff. Good dash from Izza keeps him alive. That is the shell expended though. But that is going to be the final disengager for that fight.
Yeah, great regank from the Fenrir. It just stays lurking in the shadows on the prowl. Goes ahead and forces the shell off pretty early. Going to have that down for maybe a gank when he gets to that level 5 or so. So yeah, just making sure he gets value off of just sitting over there.
Yeah, and I mean, Freaky still has this shell on the side of Geb as well as the own Geb shield, so he's got a lot of survivability and defensive capabilities going into the rest of the fights. As we see a bit of a pause come out in this match, I wonder who's going to DC. Place your bets, because I say ISO.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. I don't think it's ISO. I think. No, you're right. I'm like, he's in the middle of clearing a camp. Why would he DC? No, I was expecting somebody be in an awkward spot or something. Looking on the map, like
yeah, could have been Isa, walking towards that tower line.
Yeah, like is he just walking towards the tower? What's going on?
Yeah, we'll take a short break. Yeah, we'll take a short break while everyone gets resituated because we don't know how long ISO will be DC'd for. So be right back, guys. And we are back with the match. Apologies for that small technical delay. It's always going to happen at some point. It's Smite. You know, it's kind of the standard nowadays for at least to be one tech issue per match.
Yeah, certainly not Smite if nobody's DCing. Good invade comes out over there. It's ISO and Izakor. Go ahead and knock down that blue buff. Going to not do too much to Bologna, you know, generally that auto-focused warrior, so a little bit of farm, but not necessarily the impact you get on stealing that away from a Sun Wukong or a Mulan.
Yeah, and then also on the flip side, we do see Showguns get their own back by invading that purple buff on the Jiro side. So it's a buff for a buff, but farm is farm on either side, and it gives Thor a small advantage overall because Fenrir had to triple split to that purple, which means he's got a level down on the opposing Thor, and Thor objectively having that Anvil of Dawn earlier going to be a little bit difficult for him to kind of go towards. But both mids are level 5, they both got their ultimates available, so that's a large amount of damage that can come out at any time depending on the jungle presence.
Both available, I mean, I don't know about you, but I saw Get That Critter ult the right mids.
Hey, if you want to clear, you want to clear. Maybe
I respect it. Like, you're
like,
not going to be in a team fight anytime soon. Just get your farm.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when people just like right or her call the lane. It's just like, look, if you got items you want to go, you got places you want to be, then do it. You know, it's a short enough cooldown to make it worth a while. Maybe he was hoping to try and get some damage off as well in case anyone jumped on him. You know, it would have been perfect timing if a Fen jumps on you as you clear the camp. Speaking of Anvil of Dawn, looking for a dunk. That is the Geb being first down. And some clean ability usage takes Freaky down. No shell can help him there. First blood going to Vibe Drive.
Yeah, great gank, you know. It's ISO just ult from pretty much the Gold Fury Pit. Gets that nice max range ult, picks himself up. First blood, and that's not what you want to see on the enemy Thor, you know. He's a level up. He's got first blood. He's going to be getting that Jotuns online soon, so that ult's going to be coming out a little bit faster on the second go around, so definitely going to have to watch what its ISO does with his lead.
Yeah, and Vibe Tribe are looking strong across the board. Everyone's got a small level advantage all the way through ADC, but there's a gank in return. Ragnarok pops in. There's going to be a death of a support, Miss Curly Fry, the next to fall in the team fight. But that is a few more relics kind of popped out. Beads used on Izanami as well as the wings just drank it away. ISO around just in case Freaky's realized he can't take that Scubby buff by himself. So calling in the backline Shrimp, that's a stun. And ISO I think is going to be dead. Cataclysm used. Can ISO survive? He's getting away, but can they find the roll-up? Rollout trying to find the mark, doesn't get it. ISO staying alive at 1 HP. Gunshow could not find that kill. That is a wasted support ultimate, unfortunately. But they might try and find more dipshit for Lube is trying to find that buff. Doesn't secure their own. That's another clean invade for the Shoguns. But no return invade on the blue buff this time. Bologna going to actually secure it.
Yeah, Bologna going to be able to get that buff, and so close on getting the It's ISO kill, just not quite able to get that last, you know, hit before he's able to get his blink timer off. Just barely missing out on that, but I love the initiative. They're willing to just rip ults at people.
Yeah, it's like, hey, we want to fight, we want to take these fights, but that is something that can work against them late game. If they're too aggressive, we've seen Freaky play very aggressive at the start of the match. You know, that level 2 engage. If he sets out position a little bit too much, that's something the Vibe Tribe can take advantage of. You know, get a clean kill off, start that ball rolling, keep that momentum going. So that is something that can work in their favor or work against them depending on how the teams react. It's all about adaptability this game, realistically. If you can't adapt to what the enemy's doing, you're gonna struggle.
Yeah, definitely. Adaptation is always important when you're playing Smite. You gotta figure out your enemy's plan and plan how to beat them accordingly.
Ooh,
Unfortunately, Eagle's rally off the mark.
Yeah. Iza with the classic backstep into bull form. We've seen it all before. Doesn't have a lot of mana to re-engage. No jungle here to help either. So Iza's going to have to play very safe into this Vital Amplifier Death's Toll Bologna.
Yeah, certainly not the easiest Bologna to play into. Doesn't use mana, just kind of runs at you, beats you up as much as she wants. Nothing you can really do about it. Cataclysm used in the mid lane. Beads come out.
The early beads coming in as well as the ultimate onto the Geb. Freaky is going to take that like a rock. But no full engage from Fried means that they're going to get away fairly free, but that is a Beats cooldown that can be used for Fenrir if he wants to gank that lane. That Vulcan caught on alone and aware could be dangerous. Definitely worth the usage of that ultimate.
Oh yeah, you get the Vulcan ult out, you get the beads. That's a long cooldown. He's still got those down for another 2.5 minutes or so.
Shrimp could be in danger. Tone comes out. Gebshot immediately. Here comes Ragnarok. We see Handful of Dawn as well, looking for a target. There's 3 members, but who you gonna land on? Tries to find the mark, but doesn't hit it, unfortunately. Just gonna try and chase down to keep Curly alive. Curly 1 HP, but there's not much you can do. Try and stay alive. The 2 kills. Fried Ash can get that first one. While my ass gets a kill onto Dipspit for Lube as well. The rocket, I heard it in the background. That is a double kill on the side of Shoguns. They're getting some advantages, but they don't have anything they can follow up off. That could have been a cheeky goal Fury Call, taking out 2 very important people, but with a little bit of mana loss, you can't do that just yet.
Yeah, certainly not the safest Gold Fury Call to go for. I mean, Vulcan's around, you get hit by the meatball over the wall. You don't know if he has that ult up yet, you know, you're not really perfectly keeping track of that, as it's already up now, you know, there's certainly a chance that he could have gotten that.
Ego's ready to confirm the blue buff me that he's going to get away pretty scot-free, but Thor is here just in case they wanted to keep fighting. Thor was also there just to stop, get that critter from taking a lot more damage. Gets half-hitted by that full explosion combo by the Apwa, and this is not even a full damage Apwa just yet. Ooh, see a bit of an invade from the Shoguns, looking to take that blue buff away as Issa's 1v1ing the solo, but there's a 3-man rotation. Somersault Cloud pop very early, realizes the danger he's in, but with a Fenrir blocking off one of the exits, the other 2 knocking another. There's a Ragnarok popped. Can you outspeed? You can't. The bird is just too fast. Defender of Olympus coming in. Gives themselves a little bit of survivability, but that's just safety on the side of Vibe Tribe. Gunshow not be able to pick up a kill, but do take away. Never mind, they didn't even finish that blue buff. They wanted to try and get the kill first. They ignored the farm.
I think Never mind, it's like 1 minion on like 1 HP or something. They certainly got the buff drop, and which is unfortunate. You know, this Sun Wukong is certainly going to struggle a little bit more. He does have the breastplate coming up, so that should give him a little mana once he's back. So he does have the teleport available, so not the end of the world. But I love the heads up play from Izakor saying, "Ooh, I can't Ox because I can't knock him up because he's all yellow and stuff. I'm just gonna get away from him."
Yeah, just I don't want any part of this. I'm just gonna get the F out of here. So good awareness as well for the rest of the team to kind of like go in and try and take the kill they couldn't get. But we see a rotation from the solo looking for some damage on to get that critter. The beat expended once again, but Anvil of Dawn going very far behind onto the left side. Good wall stops the passage from the Dancer Burrow, but ISO's taking a lot of damage himself. This is a classic 2v1 situation. If they can hit their abilities, I think ISO's going to fall first. He does. Eyesight takes one with him as he falls, but Dipspit for Loop does take the return onto his opposing ADC laner, but that gives him a bit of a shutdown bonus because Wipe My Ass got that kill before he died. He had that 3-kill bounty. So that puts Dipspit for Loop back into the game. He's still a little bit behind, but now he's got a bit more presence going into this fight.
Yeah, realistically, by the time White Mayasi comes up, you know, he's going to lose a couple waves to tower. This is going to get a couple. You already see the shield camp go down, so going to relatively even that lane up, and I mean, it's just so hard to say what ISO should have done there. I mean, he could have just went for the gank, gotten himself out, commits a little bit too much, and that's just the problem, you know, these ADCs just get so much farm over there in the duo lane, just kind of hanging out. See, I think he was level 9 versus a level 12 Danzaburo, so it just doesn't end too well in that close proximity.
Yeah, I mean, your choices there were either full commit to try and get the kill, or trust your ADC to hit everything and just try and confirm the kill, or let Danza get away. So it's realistically, it's like, can we just confirm that push and make sure Danza can't push anymore? We do see a big ultimate pop up, but just a bit of a zoning. The Geber's nowhere near, but Ego's Rally comes in. The crypts have been emptied as they're looking for more Somersault Cloud. Anvil of Dawn, everything's been used in return, but it's a 3v5 right now, or 3v4 even. Anvil of Dawn finds 2, but Ragnarok pops immediately, shelters down. These health bars and Shoguns are going lower and lower. Critter gets the first kill of the team fight. Fry the first to fall. Freaky also very low. Double kill for Get the Critter. Looking for a third in this Bologna. Bologna is swinging though the shell in return. ISO picks up Freaky with a cheeky dash. That's a triple kill for the Vulcan as he dominates the team. Gets the Vibe Tribe to work around him. The Athena coming in clutch. And Izakor just making sure that he can get as much as he can done, but they're looking for more. They want that Gold Fury as Dipspit for Lube is going to chase down the Danzabora and make sure there's no shenanigans in stealing. But what a good macro and team fight play by the Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, that fight really looks bad for the Vibe Tribe at the beginning. You know, they get pushed out by the Showguns, they take some good poke, and just ISO with an amazing Anvil of Dawn comes in, lands on 3 or 4 people, and just immediately turns that fight around. Defender of Olympus comes in, and just so many low health bars that the Gunshow Showguns just aren't able to capitalize on.
Get that credit coming into a triple kill, gets knocked up, forced to use the beads very early on, doesn't want to lose his shutdown bonus. That Divine spreading off the beacon, you hate to see it. But that team fight worked very well, even though Critter kind of whiffed that ult pretty heavily. Still comes in clutch just the ability rotation to do as much as possible, and with the help of a Stone of Binding from the Athena, it's just able to shut down and put so much damage into the enemy team. But we could seize that action handle more as Fenrir is looking to do a bit cheeky bit of invading against this Thor, and we do actually see Thor get. Oh, that was just a raw, uncooked ult there. The spaghetti was not cooking there.
I think he was just trying to hit the wave. I think he was like, I just want to clear wave and back, and it just unfortunately fizzled out before he could get there.
The doggo did a very early ult there, or very late ult, depending on how you look at it.
I think he was looking to catch him right before he got the CC immunity from the ult and just wasn't able to get there in time.
The way I saw it, Ruler was already in the air. You know, you've already in that. Oh, Anvil of Dawn lands on the Danzabora, trying to find the way in. Beads is popped, but he's got that speed boost from the leaf. Trying to find the target, but the taunt is here. Trying to stay away from the other taunt enemy team, and Aegis comes out as well. Wipe my ass eye is in danger, but he's doing his best. It's his tower dive. The tower falls though, the help of the Izanami. Izza does take the kill as well. It was just a little bit of patience on the Vibe Tribe to make sure to not do too much damage, but with 3 people in left, the Gunshow Shoguns realize that and go, let's go take this Pyromancer. That was a bit of a misutilize, unfortunately. They do take the Pyromancer, and the initiation comes in. Eagles rally, and Cataclysm. Critter is in a lot of danger. Aegis popped, Shrimp takes that kill. It is all down to Iza versus 4. There's much he can do. Double kill, or 2 kills for the Shoguns, as well as a Pyromancer. Great awareness in return for the Shoguns, so they're still in this fight.
Yeah, certainly. Not a far game by any means. 2,300 gold at the 15-minute mark. You're feeling it a little bit, but it's not going to be too impactful. Bomb already dropped, looking to knock down this tier 1 mid and take away a lot of the safety.
Speaking of safety, ISO was playing a little bit dangerous there with his life, but luckily Curly Fright is there to save the day and keep ISO away from danger. The Gunshow didn't want to aggress too far and commit too much, but they now have a little bit more control over the map. Get some more wards down. We see the ward going heavily in the favor of the Shoguns as everyone starts to regroup and rethink about what they need to do. But in terms of XP leads, we do see Vibe Tribe still taking the lead in there, but it's only a 1.5k gold lead in favor of the Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, again, just very close game, and hopefully, you know, they can get Fried Ice Cream a little bit more safety in this mid lane, just by the fact that, you know, Vulcan has to push up relatively unprotected to clear that wave. You know, if they just freeze that wave up towards their tower, going to be, you know, extremely hard to gank unless, you know, it's ISO on Thor. So love to see them make that little bit of an adjustment, say, I'm just gonna hang out here. I'm gonna make you push all the way up so my jungler can just, you know, pick you up in his mouth, bring you to me.
Yeah, and that's really what the game plan is going for. We are seeing Fen go into more the full damage build. He's got the Brawlers, got the Hydras, got the Jotuns, no Rune Forge, no Breastplate just yet. He'll be overcapping on cooldown if he did. We do see Freaky trying to get cheeky invade, but the purple does go the way of the Vibe Tribe, but the rest of the Shoguns are around as the Gold Fury is going to be the objective being looked at. Curly doesn't have the highest health pool going into this fight, so they need to pay attention to that. Fried also a little bit lacking, but can heal up with those corpses if he decides to eat them. But Dipspit for Lube has been targeted by the Shoguns. The Shoguns are looking for blood on this Izanami, trying to find something. The dash is good, a good wall as well coming in. the great ultimate, double ultimate, trying to find 2, and that is Crit getting a kill to Freaky. Anvil of Dawn is looking to keep the fight going. Slightly misses the ult on the side, but tries to get some abilities out. Forces the disengage from the Shoguns, and now the Vibe Tribe have the advantage with no support. They have a lot safer access into the backline of the Shoguns if they want to take those fights. But they don't want to take that Gold Fury just yet, as the 2 solos are beating it out on the beacon. Looks like Rogue Warrior could be in danger. 3 versus 1. Eagles rally up, down as the rest of the team comes in. Shrimp is looking for blood, finds the Ragnarok. He's just going to sit there like a good doggo. Iza in the sky, but Shrimp takes out Curly Fry. Wow, they're taking a little bit of vacation. Can ISO find something? Not yet. Critter finds 1. Iza finds another. Dipspit finds a 3rd. The crypts have been emptied as a way to disengage. Freaky is here as well, trying to find some damage. Cataclysm connects, but can't find ISO. Can the rollout make it? He does. Freaky takes the kill, and is going to come in from the backside. Going to try and work with Fry to try and get some damage. Good damage connect onto the side of Freaky. He's getting shredded by this Izanami. He needs to be a little bit careful. Meatball connects, and this beacon should be going the way of the Vibe Tribe. But Gunshow, they kept fighting to the bitter end without losing way too much on their side.
Yeah, Vibe Tribe yet again just making these good fights. Looks like it could go either way. They win a little bit, they lose a little bit. Freaky gets his nice, solo kill on its ISO.
Speaking of solo kills, I think the Gold Fury might get a solo kill onto Freaky if he carries on playing like that. That's a good taunt on the connection, and their Gunshow, they're ready to punish this aggression. Dipspit for Loop, the first to fall in the fight. Izakor is here just in case. Eagles Rally doesn't connect, but Izakor, Somersault Cloud, getting that critter, looking for an ultimate, doesn't find it, finds the back camps, and Iza finds a cheeky kill to Fried Ice Cream in the backline, but Curly Fry finds the dash at 1 HP, but being chased down so easily by the Geb. The Geb should find that kill. ISO short teleport means that he's going to be in danger against the jungle in the ADC, but a Blink finds the mark into the damage. What a wall to keep himself alive, but the hammer goes inside the wall. Shrimp takes that kill in return. The Gunshow are still working hard for these damage, but Iza's in the backline, taking out another kill on the ADC. That's their pressure for the Gold Fury gone. A good bull form into 3. He's just avoiding all this damage. Iza is being a nuisance, taking everything he can. Can he get relics? Can he get blood? Can he get anything from the Shoguns? The Shoguns forced to disengage. They can't take that Gold Fury after winning that fight in a major way.
Yeah, great plays coming out from Izakor, making sure the ADC falls off the map, making sure they don't have that pressure to go into that Gold Fury, to go into that Pyromancer. And I mean, that's kind of what you want to do as a Sun Wukong. You want to just get in there, find one backliner to just kind of bully until, you know, it's a 30-minute hunter that kills you in 4 autos, because haha funny.
Well, I mean, Danza doesn't have the crit online. That's going to be one of the dangerous things when you're playing solo, is that if a hunter has crits, you're going to die a lot faster if you don't build that spectral. But neither ADC has opted for the crit routes, which is honestly refreshing to see in the first place. No one likes crit. But this is going to be dangerous for the Shoguns if YMI is taken out every time. Get that critter going for a long ball on the ult. Fried going to be forced to disengage from the left side into the arms of the Athena. Izakor gets that kill first. Eagles Rally and Ragnarok take Ish into the backline. It's dangerous going for the solo. Meanwhile, they're pulling the Gold Fury, looking for Dipspit for Lube. Forces the bead, they're looking for the damage. A good ultimate comes in. Iza with a blink, looking for YMI Asai is going to take the rocket down into the arms of Iza. And that is what a cleanup. But look at the Fenrir trying to get the damage off into Dipspit. Dipspit gets the dash off just in time. These health bars are low. The doggo is put back in the kennel. Shrimp cannot find anything else to work with, and they're going to take the Gold Fury instead. But guess who's around just in case? Bellona looking for something. A bludgeon comes out. Great ages from Dipspit, and a critter uses the ult to secure the Gold Fury, trying to find some more, but Rogue could be in danger, and that is a delayed deicide. Fried Ice Cream just coming up the rear, and Vibe Tribe once again just really pushing these team fights from one bad mistake and then winning the fight off of it. What a game.
Yeah, Vibe Tribe certainly just being incredibly together. They're just always there. Oh, somebody's getting low, don't worry, we got another person there. Oh, there's a bad fight over by the Gold Fury. Well, we're gonna rotate, 3 members in, so now it's a 4v2, now we can win that. just
Yeah.
playing very well off of each other. I'm glad
Yeah.
to see the cohesion.
And from a 1k gold lead or so, pretty even before that one team fight happened, up until a 5k gold lead. They're slowly making their mark, looking for more. And I think Gunshow just needs to stop trying to prioritize Iza, because Iza is just going to stay alive no matter what you do to him. You can use every ult in the game to try and take him down, but Iza is just putting in work on this Wukong, and the Vibe Trap allowed to just free cast behind and letting get that critter, get abilities off, or Dipspit being just a nuisance with those Iza autos. It's very difficult for the Vibe Trap to get in. If you pick this Fenrir, you want to try and take out one of those backlines, or at least the support, so they can't have that set up for the backlines.
Yeah, definitely. The Fenrir, you're looking for one of those high value targets, whether it's the support that, you know, makes sure that those backliners stay safe, or it's one of those backliners themselves taking away that damage from your team is important. That fight, I want to say we saw him take Izakor back through the tower right at the start, so didn't have that ultimate really available there. And honestly, the biggest change I would love for them to see is just make the adjustment to have Shrimp play a little closer to Rogue Warrior.
Vibe Tribe looking to take an early Fire Giant here. Comes in, Vibe Tribe, they do take it. Eagles Riley a little bit too late. But Gunshow, they're going to be the aggressors on this fight. Anvil of Dawn popped immediately. Ragnarok uses a disengage. Dipspit for Loop takes that kill. First one of the fight. Anvil of Dawn a little bit too slow. But he's still looking at Fried Ice Cream. Zones off his team with the wall. So they're going to try and take the Geb himself. But rolling around the world, the Geb gets away with a cheeky rollout, keeping himself alive. The Shoguns suffer no more casualties outside of Shrimp. But this is 5 members with a Fire Giant, and they're going to look at doing some tower sweeps. But that's a blink into the tower line. Fried, you played a little bit too close to the sun, but he's staying alive a little bit longer. The double tap is clean, and the spin around takes him, but ISO should fall there. He does, while Mayase takes that kill from the over-aggression on the side of ISO, and that's one person down with Fire Giant. That's exactly what you're looking for in return for the death of your mid laner, and stops the Vibe Tribe from aggressing into that tier 2 tower. But they are going to go and get the beacon and start those Titans running down the lanes.
Yeah, going to get them started off doing a little bit. Izakor taking so much damage from with my Aussie. Still looking for a little bit more, but not going to find too much. Going to be able to disengage that, and with these Titans marching down that right lane in just about 30 seconds or so, going to see some struggles come out for the Gunshow Showguns on whether or not they're going to be able to overcome this 7k gold lead.
You never know. I mean, this is my anything goes. No matter what happens, there's always could be one mistake that happens and causes the game to swing completely in the opposite direction. All it could take is taking out Get That Critter, taking out Dipspit for Louvre, and then just allowing Iza to have to 1v5. And if Iza can't do that, then the Gunshow gets free roam of the rest of the map. It's all about target prioritization in these team fights, or even just getting a very lucky pick depending on the positioning. But so far, the Shoguns are still winning in the ward positioning. They see them have much more information available to them as the Vibe Tribe are going to start running it down this right side, try and take out this Chaos Titan as they meet in the middle.
Yeah, going to opt instead to go ahead and knock down that Primal Fury, going to be able to take that uncontested, but it's definitely a gamble, you know, having a full health Titan pushing down on that right side isn't the most comfortable thing to be dealing with. Although you do have, again, a really good siege defense with, you know, the MD, the Crypts, the Cataclysm, the Ragnarok. You have a lot of tools that you can use on that defense, but with that full health Titan, it's hard to not see that right bird falling.
Yeah, and I think realistically it's kind of the lesser of two evils, because yes, you're letting the Titan walk up the right side, but you take off the only other available thing in the map. You know, there's no Fire Giant available, there's no Dolphin left available. Well, we see the engage coming out. Vulcan ult does fight a lot of damage onto Fried Ice Cream, and Izakor's looking to take that kill. The mid laner down, first one to fall in the fight. Ragnarok pop to try and find someone. Get that critter, does a lot of baiting. Uses the Aegis, and Dipspit takes that kill onto Shrimp. And so this could be an end core. Possibly two of your major players on the Shoguns are down and out. While my ally is still available, looking for more as these 5 members strong, looking at this Phoenix. Dipspit takes out Freaky. The Geb has fallen. The Rock is no longer standalone. But Rogue Warrior is in the backline, finding what he can. Bludgeon connects and does a lot of damage, but that Titan is looking straight for that base. But Vibe Tribe, they don't want to opt to try and go for that end call just yet. They know it's going to be a little bit too healthy and are going to opt for taking out these towers, the tier 2 in mid, the tier 2 in left, but they also get a bird in the meantime. They are just trying to take everything they can away from the Shoguns to try and make this a clean victory and make sure no mistakes can be made.
Yeah, certainly with those 2 towers up, the Titan certainly is a tough task to be able to kill. And we see White Manasi's still there, available for that defense. See him over towards the top of the damage charts, even with a 10k deficit. So certainly not somebody they want to mess with too much. Going to just take their lead, go spend their gold, and set up for this next Fire Giant.
Yeah, that's going to be what it comes down to, but it is going to be a normal Fire Giant by the time it spawns in. Not going to be enhanced one, so it's not going to be auto-win, but if the Gunshows lose this in a bad way, it's going to be very hard for them to do a full defense, depending on who they lose. So the Vibe Tribe, the ball is in their court to try and get this fight. So they're going to try and get to the Fire Giant, but it looks like a lot of them are just going to run down mid. Going to try and force some pressure, try and get some waves under some towers. We see Shrimp defending that left lane to try and stop that from happening. But never mind, they are going to go towards the Fire Giant now. Rogue Warrior is in the right side of the jungle. He's here as a buffer, and Iza is also around just to zone. We see Iza going straight towards this opposing solo just to be an absolute harasser. But Rogue Warrior isn't done just yet. He's going to walk straight towards this fire pit. He's going to bait out time. Vulcan Ult popped in. Not secure just yet. Look, not enough time, but does get a 3-man stun. And Rogue a little bit too late on the ultimate. But now I think there's going to be the death of a Bologna as we see Anvil of Dawn popped in, looking for something more. That is the drop down. Desperate for loot. Takes out Rogue Warrior like a bunch of sharks. The Vibe Tribe take 1 pick. And with 5 members of Fire Giant, they have a lot to work for now. Got the Phoenix, got the towers on the left, and now it's down to the Shoguns to do the anti-siege. But as you mentioned so clearly before, Fried Ice Cream, Empty the Crypts, great anti-siege tool as well as a Cataclysm. They need to play very safe in terms of how they attack this. As they walk in, Athena looking in, the ultimate popped by Vulcan once again. Early cooldown, they just give up that, but there's nothing they can do. Empty the Crypt's used. Shrimp Warrior is here though, trying to find something. Wamiasai falls in the background, gets a double kill onto Shrimp as well. Dipfit for Lube, putting in the work with the Izanami. As they're going for a little bit more damage. Curly Fry get it back, get some more health back. Gonna see Defender of Olympus find their way in as they look for the left side overall. That's the tower going to go down slowly but surely, and it's down to Geb, Bologna, and Fried Ice Cream. The last bird is going to fall, but ISO was just having a bit of a fun time in the backline, just trying to do some damage towards the Titan. Not sure what
I think he was just buying time, making sure that his team would have just unfiltered access to that left bird. It looks like I see a little bit more fighting here.
They walk in, that's a big chunk of the Titan going down, and with the Vulcan turret just doing so much, Rogue Warrior trying to do his best to stop Dipspit for walking in. Empty the Crypts is a great diversion, the health bar's going down, but so is the Titan. Vibe Tribe surely but steadily take down this game 1 in a way where only Izakor can be blamed for just being a nuisance. 6-1-14 on the stat line. But every one of the Vibe Tribe plays so cohesively, it was a struggle for the Shoguns to get in, even with the comp they drafted. So we're going to see some pretty interesting changes to how that draft works out in Game 2. But right now, Vibe Tribe, Game 1. Very good fight. We will take a short break as the teams get resituated. So bear with us as we come back for Game 2. Welcome back to Frank's retirement home. We are in the quarterfinals for Walker, watching Vibe Tribe versus Gunshow Showguns. We are in the middle of a best of three. We just saw Vibe Tribe take a very commanding win over the Gunshow Showguns in game one. So we're going to see a bit of a change up in strategy for both teams in game two. Is there anything you're looking for in these picks and bans, Ruler?
Certainly seeing a lot of what I already wanted out, getting both of those, rotators out, getting that Athena with the global rotation, Thor with the semi-global. Still looking at this X-Ball ban though, and I'm a little bit curious. I have to assume that's a target ban, but it's just not something that I necessarily agree with.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen White My House I play Danza on multiple different occasions, but taking away the X-Bal does mean that Lights Out won't be in play. So if they wanted to play for a semi-global ult again, so the Ratatasker, the Thanatos, we've taken the Thor out, so we can't use that one. It gives a lot of lethality towards that, so it could just be a comfort pick as well. But yeah, like you said, getting the Athena out of the game, getting the Thor out of the game, just taking those away. But the big switch up is that the Gunshow Shoguns are taking first pick, and they decided to take away that Wukong, giving it to good old Rogue Warrior, who did perform fairly well on the Bologna previous game, but now he has a lot more survivability rather than aggression going into these matches, and takes away from Izakor, who performed very well on the Wukong.
Yeah, Sun Wukong definitely something we've seen Izakor a lot, quite a bit through the season. Definitely one of his go-tos, getting not only rid of it for him, but taking it for yourself after that 6-1 performance. Definitely a strong pick. And then we see Charon Izanami again, one of those very aggressive lanes. Tons of pressure.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how that lane goes. It's going to be scary, especially when we see nearly matching pressure with Horus Charybdis.
Yeah, not very often you see a Charybdis, I will say. Charybdis not the the most common of gods to see in the ADC lane, but applying that with a Horus gives you a lot of good pressure. You have two ways of having protection shred into a Karen Izza, but also matches the wave clear potential. Yes, Izza just has it in base autos, but with the one on Charybdis you can do the same thing and get that full wave clear, as well as proc on your other abilities. So definitely not a bad pickup to try and match that aggression, because realistically, Asai was putting on a lot of pressure in return to the Izza on the Danza Borough, who's not exactly known for his wave clear. So if he's able to match the pressure inherently that character has, he could prove to be on top this time around. But he just needs to be careful of the Karen. Karen does so much in terms of a support, is one of my favorites to play at the moment. Even building Abyssal Gem. I don't think we'll see it, but building Abyssal Gem and just being absolute nuisance to the enemy team, very fun. But we do see the Osiris being taken for the solo lane. Not something we see too often, but what are your thoughts on that Osiris pick?
So I think Osiris is one of those gods that everybody forgets about until, we see it in the SPL like a week before before grand final. So I feel like it's not an awful god, especially, after they buffed his one to make it go through the minions. It's just a god that not a lot of people think about. And I mean, the ability based warriors are certainly strong right now. We see Chalk getting buffed, Achilles getting buffed, Kakoin got buffed a couple of patches ago. It's just more of a ability-based warrior meta.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into the Sun Wukong. It's not exactly a matchup you see too often, especially when characters, like you said, the Achilles would be available, the Cuckoo Lane. Definitely more matchups we see favored. But in terms of the bans, we are seeing a lot of jungle bans taken out from both sides. The Ratataska, the Thanatos, taking away that semi-global ult pressure once again. But also on the other side, for the Shoguns, they're taking out the Dashi and the Hun Bats. Dashi, a bit of an interesting one, but the Hun Bats take away Big Circle. Definitely something to be terrified of in that team.
Yeah, funny to see, how oriented the picks are coming out of the second phase. We see double semi-global ultimates banned, and then we see double beads burn banned,
Yeah.
Definitely prioritizing different things with what they want to go against.
Yeah, and I mean, taking away the beats burner for someone like an Osiris, because Osiris doesn't have the best way of chasing someone if you have some kind of slow immunity. So taking away the beads as his only form of CC means that Osiris is able to chase a lot better. So it's going to be difficult for Osiris to get in there the same way that the Wukong did. the previous game to see how that works out. So see what jungle they pick on the side of Vibe Tribe could determine how those fights go. Because that's really what happens in these fights, is how good the solo and the jungle dive together. But we are seeing a bit of a Raijin hover for that mid lane.
Yeah, honestly, I really like Raijin into the team comp that they've already gotten. They have a very aggressive team comp, Charon able to send the summon sticks down the lane, give everybody that move speed buff, get them all into that fight. Izanami, you see Izanami almost every fight. All of
Yeah,
a sudden just dashing in, popping two autos into you and crying. Raijin getting on those taiko drums, pulling you in, pushing you out, doing what he wants. I mean,
he's
that
taking
gives
all
them
the
a
hard.
really clear idea of what they want their team fights to be.
And it's a bit of survivability going into the Horus as well. If you self mez, or up down with the mez, you can kind of stop some of the aggression that the Horus brings. Because when you see a Horus, no matter what position he's playing, it's gonna be aggressive. It's gonna be, I'm going to dash at you every single time, get fracture and get updraft, and see how much damage I can do. It's just, is there anyone there to follow up? That's going to be the question mark. So far, the draft that the Vibe Tribe has says we don't care about your aggression, we have our own, and we can shut you down at the same time.
Yeah, definitely a lot of aggression coming out from both teams. First, unaggressive pick getting hovered here is that Merlin. Sure, you can flicker in, get some fire stance, shred, and incredible damage, but generally more known for kind of sitting back, filling those hallways with ice and the void stance. And a Poseidon hover as well, looking into possibly that magical jungle, and that's something I don't mind. I think the Poseidon's fallen out of the meta a little bit in the jungle,
Yeah.
but still certainly potent.
Now, I know it's not it might not be a pick on the side of the Shoguns, but, my man Brigitte still available. That brings a lot to this team comp that you have, especially with a Horus and a Wukong available to you. If you're able to get that party trick going off and that Spirit Bomb, that's someone that's just going to die. But inherently, Poseidon has the same concept, just a little bit cleaner in one go. Hit the Kraken, or hit the Whirlpool, hit the Kraken, that person's likely dead. Uh, but Poseidon has a lot of good rotational pressure. The movement speed from the Trident is going to provide a lot of time to get between camps, get between lanes, provide some pressure here and there. But it also takes that Whirlpool into account, takes out the Mez from the Raijin. Raijin can't dash if he's crippled.
Yeah, Raijin certainly can't dash when he's crippled. Ravana, however, gets to do about whatever he wants, even if you Kraken. Has two ways to
Yeah.
get out of it, the Mystic Rush and the overhead kick, and I mean that's about as counter to Poseidon as you can get, saying, I don't care about anything you do. I'm just going to walk at you. What are you gonna
Yeah,
do? Knock me back? I can immune that. You gonna ult me? I can immune that. So definitely excited to see how its ISO is able to pilot this Ravana into this Poseidon. I mean, realistically, he could get off to a big lead in the jungle.
yeah, and it's not even like the rest of the team on Gunshow can really shut down a Raven either. Merlin has to play very safe so they can try and spam abilities as much as possible. Raven can just play through walls and get a Mystic Rush over the wall. Charybdis is going to be forced into the immunity pretty quickly, which means chase down for the rest of the team. On a Horus, once again, same thing as the CC on the Poseidon. You've got the overhead kick and the Mystic Rush available to you, so that Horus aggression is going to do much to you. And even when he's in the backline, that mitigation from Mystic Rush is going to prove very valuable to this team. So, based on the drafts alone, I have to give it to Vibe Tribe again. I think they have a lot of good picks once again. Dip Spit for Loop got Izanami, so it's going to be fragging once again. But we see changes in every single other position. So, could be a little bit different in terms of the team fights, but this time, Gunshow, they've got a lot of aggression on their own side. They're not playing for the pick side like the Fenrir. They actually have a way to fight back. So this could make this game 2 very interesting.
Yeah, definitely interesting. I mean, the Osiris is my big question mark.
Mm.
I love the comp. Osiris is like,
Hmm.
because they had great coordination on that first game, but Osiris is one of the solo laners you have to be the most coordinated with. He does not do a lot on his own. He can lock
Yeah.
down one target if they don't have their movement abilities up. That's it. So you have to be playing with a jungler that's either able to get those out or able to set you up in a position where they don't have beads, they don't have a sprint available to get away from your slows. So I'm excited to see whether or not they're able to keep enough cohesion.
I will say though, in the previous game, we did see Izakor try and lock down 3 people by himself on the Wukong. The Osiris kind of does the same thing. If you get that tether onto 3 people, you get that bunch of mitigation, and you can just bait for as much time as possible where the rest of your team does what they need to do. You just have a lot less survivability in it because you don't have the innate healing, you don't have Somersault Cloud, you've got an escape in your ultimate as a way of trying to get out. But he's still able to survive a little bit longer just by using that tether mitigation. So he does have the same concept of proof when it comes to that team fight potential or the objective potential. It's just a question of whether you can actually pull it off. I think that's what that comes down to.
Yeah, certainly, able to fulfill that same role, just more difficult in doing it well. But I mean, I certainly have hope. They looked great last game. I'm excited to see how this next game goes.
Yeah. So far, anything striking you as off with the builds?
Nothing too crazy. I mean, do see maybe a little bit of a flip flop from what I'd like to see on those starters in the solo lane.
Yeah.
Sun Wukong going for the axe and Bluestone on Osiris. I'd love to see those swap, Brooch late game on Sun Wukong is so strong, and a Hero's Axe late game on Osiris instead of having to sacrifice a slot for Kins to get extra damage off could be pretty beneficial, but definitely not detrimental to their teams.
We do also see Asai opting for the Asai build instead of going for the Devourer's Gauntlet like the Izanami. Is hoping to get that kind of early pressure online, using those triple autos to their advantage. Maybe we see an Executioner early on if they don't want to focus on the fights, focus on the dueling aspect, and want to focus on the team fights. But we see the Rip and Tear coming through, just bursting through both those camps pretty easily. Not a triple pull. I would have probably liked to see a triple pull, honestly. With
they both triple pulled. They both triple
they did go triple pull.
Both teams triple pull. Yeah. That's why they're both delayed as it's a meeting. Just incredible clear speed coming out from both comps.
Yeah. But that is perfect timing then. Freaky G is going to opt to play a little bit more safe this time around. Never mind, the Fragile lands onto Miss Curlyfry, but Curlyfry takes the dash level 1, and Asai is going to force to get the 3, which is never what you want to see early on. Ooh, pardon me. Never what you want to see early on. You want to get that 2 for that extra wave clear and shred. So this does give Vibe Tribe a bit of an advantage with the Izanami Aaron going in.
Yeah, as much as you might want to get that 2 for, again, the slow, the shred, the extra clear, into a Charon is tough. He has the slow, he has the attack speed slow, he has the root, he has so many tools available that you want to have that get out of jail free card. Just, nope, I'm going underground, give me a second, I'll be with you in just a minute.
Let me regain my senses. But we do see Freaky actually take the dash on Curlyfry. Curlyfry lost that potential on the dash and forced to disengage. But guess who's around? ISO on this Raven is looking for some damage. Opt to go for Cryptis, but with that 3, as you just mentioned, survivability keeps them alive and doesn't find the Horus either. So it was a good gank in potential. And on the right side, we do see Poseidon taking that gank to Osiris and forcing Osiris to back. Both good ganks. No kills, but alleviates some of the pressure that both teams had.
Yeah, definitely could have went just a little bit better for Vibe Tribe over here in the duo lane. Just a little bit of a mess up on the target priority.
Yeah.
Horus didn't have his 3 at level 2. He did not have the ability to get, the little teleport off into his ADC, so would have been a much easier choice to go for. It doesn't have that safety, and I think they realistically could have picked up a kill there.
Yeah, I mean, it's even just knowing that the Cryptis has the 3 available to them. That's something that probably should have been called out by the Vibe Tribe duo lane. Just said, hey, they've picked up this big safe ability. It's one of the reasons why Cryptis is picked in the first place compared to someone like a Jing Wei. It's just having that immunity underground to be completely damage immune.
Yeah, just maybe a little bit of miscommunication, maybe just an unfortunate target call, but at the end of the day, they don't lose too much for it. Do lose a little bit of pressure over in that solo lane, but not going to be too significant.
I do want to point out as well, the Wukong doesn't have a relic yet. doesn't have that teleport available. I think he's waiting to see whether it's worth getting the teleport if he gets bullied out of lane, or whether he wants to go for a more aggressive comp like a Blink as that first relic slot. So playing a little bit dangerously in terms of the relic usage, but has that ult available, as well as Iza Rogue half HP, and Iza's going to try and take some damage, but Tiger Stun goes away. Not going to try and force that fight. We might see the relic game picked up now.
Yeah, probably going to see that teleport picked up, not having quite as much fun as he might want in lane. Definitely doesn't need to pick it up yet though, but he does. He does, yeah. You know what?
Might as well.
I'm not going to be able to just hang out in this lane, have all the fun that I want to. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up, but I do love waiting for that first back to pick up your teleport. It says, maybe I'm him today, maybe I'm not. Going to see if I can get away with that blink first and maybe a sprint second for all of the slows.
Yeah, oh, could be dangerous for Kelly Fry. The fracture into the knuckle means the death of a Karen. But the Kraken is also looking for damage onto Izakor. Izakor is going to do his best at 1v2ing. Both ultimates pop for the Showguns, but Iza stays alive. So Gunshow may have got first blood in the duo lane, taking out the support, but they couldn't find a second onto Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, Kraken just a little bit off the mark, not going to get the full damage onto this Osiris, and just does not give them enough in the tank to keep going after that kill. Izakor gets a nice up down, gets the double stun, nearly kills Shrimp, so...
Yeah.
I mean, very nearly turns that gank.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you kill Shrimp there, you could fight the Sun Wukong, who no longer has that survivability, but doesn't have the Soul Eater online, so isn't gonna benefit too much from the lifesteal in terms of the box. But I'm sure the Showguns are still happy regardless getting that first blood in the duo lane, as they can look for a second kill, looking for Dipspit for Lube. No dash available, but last second keeps Dipspit alive just a little bit longer. But this duo lane, we're seeing that aggression come out, and that's exactly what you want to see for this early to mid game. Try and get as much pressure as possible. Freaky is going to opt to go for the Horrors ult, see if they can get under the tower line. Dipspit doesn't have a dash available to you, but that's, come on, don't get too long. The shell comes out. Dipspit for Lube is going to dash away. Freaky dies to the tower line. Dipspit for Lube doing a bit of a cheeky laugh there. Pretty certain that's against the rules, but never mind. When you dive the tower like that and survive, yeah, there's not really much you can do.
Does cost the beads, but going to be able to get out of there with their life, not able to even pick up the kill, not able to land the auto, just more worried about staying invisible and dodging. Other side of the map though, we see Shrimp finally successful on that gank, going to pick up Izakor along with his blue buff.
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic invade for the blue buff. Gets caught out. It wasn't just the solos opting for it. Shrimp making that fast rotation over. A little bit late on the timing for the 3 for ISO to try and catch Fried Ice Cream. Gets the flicker away. But Freaky is still looking for some aggression. Poseidon in the backline tries to get that critter, but with the Whirlpool off the mark, I think this Poseidon's going to be next up. Beads popped in. Whirlpool as a diversion. Styx is used. Get the other water character back into the fight, but Poseidon is still way out. It's a 3v2. Fried Ice Cream is not afraid of throwing those abilities out. Exactly what you expect from your Merlin. Not going to be too afraid of dying when the enemy team is on the backline.
Yeah, Merlin, not the easiest character to dive. I mean, Flicker does have a pretty long cooldown, but, you know, with a Horus in front of you, it's hard to worry about too much in this early game. Just so much CC, so much damage, even a good amount of healing.
Yeah.
But he falls off a little bit in that late game, you know. His ult isn't, you know, as useful as a standard support ult, you know. It's not a River's Rebuke, it's not a Dharmic Pillars. It's a movement ability, not necessarily a huge team fight ability. So
repositioning ability. You're either using it to get out or get in. Meanwhile, other support. Oh, do we see a fight breaking out on the ADC lane? By my eyesight, it does have the advantage. Trying to find Dipspit for Lube using the invis. Cannot find the mark, but with the invis just dropping the 2 connects, and that is a kill. Both ultimates used though. But with no beads, there's not much that Dipspit could do. As we look for another gank on the duo lane, they're trying to shut Izakor down very early on. Kraken is in, doesn't do that much damage, but the Whirlpool is good. forced to use the ult, and we could see the dive coming out from Rogue Warrior. He's looking for the cudgel, but I don't think he does enough damage just yet. Doesn't have the damage, unfortunately. Uses the eagle to get closer, but not enough to be in range. While my ass, I gets a second kill onto its ISO as he came in for a cheeky revenge kill. It's all going well for the Gunshow Showguns. They start really putting pressure on this map in all of its entirety.
Yeah, certainly a better start from their game 1. Already racking up about a 2,100 gold lead at this 8-minute mark, and that's substantial this early in the game.
Yeah, definitely going to be very important as what my assay is looking for some more damage, but just doing a little bit of baiting for Dipspit for Lube. He's going to try and find that dash over the wall, but with a rotation from the Merlin, does a lot of damage, living at 1 HP. That is Fried Ice Cream taking that kill with a good auto to confirm. Dipspit for Lube struggling so far to try and find their place into this match, but that's going to be a Goal Fury call for the Showguns, knowing that the ADC's down. And they have not much presence coming in. Get that critter nowhere near. And with some survivability from the Horus, they're going to take this pretty much for free. There's nothing that Vibe Tribe can do. They're not going to get close enough. But Merlin Shred does enough to help shred that bird.
Yeah, Merlin cribbed this incredible shred. They get their pick on that side of the map. They say, hey guys, nobody's over here. And they just grab that Gold Fury. Just great play from the Showguns. Really turning it around from game 1, just night and day. They are on top of this map.
Yeah, I mean that 3k goal lead, 5-0 on the stat lines is just really helping them come through. Realistically, the Shogun's only death has been a PvE death. If only Zek was here.
Does it count?
It doesn't really count, but if only Zek was here, he'd be happy. But now it's down to the Shoguns as they transition into the mid game to try and focus on every other objective that comes up. You know, Pyromancer's going to spawn in soon. You've got the Fire Giant that's going to spawn in 5 minutes. I don't think you can take the Fire Giant just yet, but with the way these fights are going, Dipspit for Loop once again, but this time has an early dash away as Freaky starts making that rotation in. But we see the Horus ult come in into the tower line. Freaky, don't dive the tower this time, my friend. Fracture does not connect, so he knows he can't aggress too much as the Styx comes in late. They are now on the aggression. A good ultimate from Izzard does find the Horus, but I don't think they're scared of it whatsoever. Meanwhile, looks like we're looking for this lone Poseidon. Tycho Drums gets that kill, Get That Critter comes in, but he's got to deal with someone else. Mystic Rush used to escape the Sun Wukong, but Rogue Warrior does have the potential to come back in again, but he doesn't want to take it as a teleport comes out from Osiris to make sure that fight stops. A good kill for the Vibe Tribe to take right now based on how this match has been going.
Yeah, definitely a good pick to just grab him out in the jungle. Again, you know, he's Poseidon, he has a move speed buff, but that's about it. A little lacking in that mobility part. If the Ravana is able to get in there, it is tough for him to get out.
Go button comes in, ISO is around, but these health bars of Vibe Tribe are pretty low. While my ass is still full HP with the shield buff, as Dipspit for Loop is going to try and take that 1v1, but is losing dangerously with the help of Freaky, getting that healing online. And soon enough, Freaky's going to have that Rune Forged online. We see it being built in that the second slot, so that could be proved vital for how these team fights go later on, and just really accentuate the lead that they have.
Yeah, definitely that 15% increased damage, certainly impactful. And you know, when you're engaging a lot of the time with that Horus Fracture, you're going to be getting that proc on a lot of fights right before you get that updraft to keep them there. So definitely a great item on the God. Glad to see them, opting for more of a damage item. It has a little bit of health on it, doesn't have the defense. White My Aussie just kind of running away with this lead, about 2.5 levels up.
Yeah, do you think we'll see the Stone of Binding come out from Horus as well?
I mean, maybe you kind of do want to focus a little bit more on defense after you grab that Rune Forge. You want a couple more, high ticket items, a little bit more defense, but it's certainly a possibility.
Yeah, we do see the Shoguns. They take control of the map once again. They take that beacon pretty much uncontested. The only person that showed up to begin with was Critter. Tried to throw some Raiju damage out, couldn't find the mark, so he just had to give that beacon up. The Shoguns playing very safe, but we do see a nice little aggression come out from Shrimp Warrior. Tried to catch out Iza, but Iza was ready to just not fight that at all and uses the ultimate. But guess who's around? In the backside, Freaky G looking for that fracture combo. Double back comes out, so the Whirlpool doesn't connect, but the Kraken does. Summon Stick finds 3 members to keep the Osiris alive, but into the arms of the Horror Soul. Iza taking a lot of damage. Shell pops. The Merlin's around, picks up that kill, looking for Curly Fry as well. Rogue Warrior chases the Boatman down. Monkey versus Boat, who wins that fight? But ISO is going to go into that backline, trying to save that tower. ISO blinks out, uses his throwing his own teammate a little bit too late. The Gunshow, they're still looking for a little bit more. With Merlin coming back up the right side, there is still 4 members on this right. Meanwhile, Raijin is going to take that mid tier 1 tower in return for that rotation, but this sets up the Shoguns for some good potential. With Horror Ceiling, they could look at any kind of push they wanted. It looks like they might see a Gold Fury call coming out. As Get That Critter could be in danger. He's by himself, no one to help. Early Mez comes out. Rogue doesn't have the Tiger Stun, but this is the Gold Fury call that we expected.
Yeah, it's a Gold Fury call. They don't have the Kraken quite up yet, though, so it's going to be a little tough to want to just go ahead and grab this.
Looks like they're going for more. The Kraken is used. Vibe Tribe steal it away, though. Dipset Blue takes a kill as well. It's all going downhill for the Shoguns as they try and find more. A double kill for Dipset. Rogue Warrior is the next to fall. Beats Aegis on the Merlin. They're hungry for more. Tries to find that damage. ISO picks up Fried Ice Cream. And with Horus very low in the backline, they're looking for Asai, but Asai is playing for his life right now. What a turn for the entire game for the Vibe Tribe to steal away their goal for and even up that 4k gold that the Gunshows had. And they're using it to their advantage. They're pushing for even more. They could even go for a tier 2 if they want to. Why, my Asai, what are you doing there? You're forced to use the ultimate to get away, use that movement speed. And we're going to allow Rogue Warrior to teleport back in, so it does stop that tier 2 siege, but that steal was all it needed for the Vibe Tribe to have that go button. Rogue? Rogue. Okay, I thought Rogue was going to play more aggressive there, but good silence from the Karen takes him out of the transformations. Asai is around just in case there was going to be any more follow-up. The Gunshow, they aren't done just yet. They know they have the map pressure. They know they have the control, so they're going to try and take this Pyromancer as the consolation to try and keep that gold lead running. Even though Vibe Tribe just came back in a major way, they still want to put up this fight, take what they can, and make sure the Vibe Tribe can't extend their lead any further.
Yeah, they pick up the Pyromancer, evens the gold back now within just a couple hundred, but great fight from the Vibe Tribe. They say, oh, you guys are a little poked out, you guys are tanking the Gold Fury. Well, unfortunately your Kraken's just not quite timed right. We're going to go ahead and take that from you. Oh, your health bars are low? The Taiko drums can do a little bit more than just steal an objective, and just a great fight from the Vibe Tribe to put them right back into this game.
Yeah, and I have to say, I do find Shrimp's build on this Poseidon a little bit interesting. You know, it's not very often you see a Chronos Pendant being built in the jungle. You may see it sometimes in the Maman Brigitte, but having that cooldown allows you to Kraken more for every single rotation, allows you to have it for every objective that comes up. You know, we said he didn't have it just yet, but as we said, he just pops the Kraken anyway. It's just a little bit too early to confirm that the damage doesn't have that all online just yet. So this coming into that mid to late game could prove to be really important for the Shoguns, but we see a fight breaking out. Speaking about Poseidon, Shrimp's going to be in a lot of danger. Good Fracture comes out and a Kraken. Get That Critter takes out Shrimp though, but forces ISO to back away. He's 1 HP, he's struggling. Meanwhile, Miss Curly Fry is going to be at the behest of the 2 members. A good updraft finds 2. Get That Critter playing on the backline. Runeforge bonks on the ground, looking for something. A good tether finds 2 on the stun, forces Somersault Cloud. Trying to find something. Rogue Warrior wants to get his way in, is forced to disengage and dash away immediately. The Vibe Tribe still very strong on that right side, trying to find a way into that fight. But these ADCs, they just want to fight constantly. Dipswit Faloo finally has met his match, and I don't think we're going to talk about that.
I mean, if nobody saw it, his Aegis is still up, right? Like that's how it works.
I mean, hopefully Dipspit heard it as they look for a beacon fight in this mid. This is going to be the second beacon of the game, but Vibe Tribe are going to have the overwhelming presence. But the Merlin throws out some void damage, trying to get something. But with the healing of Asai that Asai has, that's going to be a tongue twister in itself. He's able to just sustain back up the lave, and the Dev's Gauntlet is not going to do the same for Dipspit. Here comes Poseidon, shows in, Blink comes out, trying to find some damage. The Poseidon is the prime target for everyone with an early beat. Gets caught up by a tether, Kraken to peel for himself. But that's 4 members that are going to take down Shrimp. Once again, Poseidon falls at the very start of the fight, and that's the catalyst for the Vibe Tribe, and forcing Showguns to back away. Freaky and Wipe My Asai going to go towards the back left, as the Gold Fury has spawned and going to be pulled immediately. But ISO is next to me danger. Overhead kick used immediately to stop that fracture damage, but guess who's around? Izako and the Cyrus pops the tether, gives himself some mitigation, and is doing what he does best and zoning. All 3 members, Taiko drums pop to try and get some good confirmed sticks used as well. Finds the Horus, clips his wings. And Vibe Tribe, they are coming back stronger than ever, piece by piece. Meanwhile, Sun Wukong, split pushing. You've seen it before. It's just one of those things with Smite.
I think that's the first time that's ever happened. Never seen that one before. So Elena is just not coming to a fight and just farming. I've never seen that one.
Never seen that. It's like not that level 20 grind. And speaking of level 20, look at those mid and ADC levels. They are cooking right now in terms of the XP gains.
Yeah, definitely. Talking about XP gains too, we see that 2-level lead develop from its ISO to Shrimp Warrior, probably sitting at about a level and a half or so, but Shrimp just seeming a little bit too confident, gets himself out of position with this Poseidon and loses his life twice in a row with no revenge, so going to have to see this Poseidon play just a little bit more reserved.
Ooh, and with a bit of aggression from Freaky G, forces Mystic Rush out of ISO. He doesn't want to lose that level lead either. But this gives a bit of a go-ahead for Gunshow Showguns. They're going to try and pull this Fire Giant. They have the Merlin around. They have the Charybdis. They have that Shred potential. And the Vibe Tribe don't have a lot of confirm on their side. Freaky and Rogue going to try and do their best part at zoning, but ISO coming around that backline. It goes low, low, low. Vibe Tribe steal away the Fire Giant, even to the Kraken once again. Critter with a triple kill off some a little bit of damage. He's looking for the quad. He gets the quad on Freaky. It's down to Rogue Warrior. The bull form does connect. He's slowed, but I think this Raijin wants it all. He's coming around the back. Never mind, he's given up on that chase altogether, but Rogue is caught between a rock and a hard place as this tier 1 tower is under duress. Wukong is looking for something, a good bull form once again, but he's taking some damage from Izaralto's Rogue. The tether does connect. Iza takes it in. That's a clean deicide. The Vibe Tribe, how did they win that Fire Giant off a Kraken once again? Shrimp must be feeling super bad about these timings as the Vibe Tribe clean up that fight.
Yeah, that was a really close one. You know, a couple hundred damage off of that secure, unfortunately, it gives way to losing that objective. And I mean, Vibe Tribe are just taking such good fights. They're saying, alright, we might not be winning too hard, so we're gonna wait for you to pull an objective, lose some health there, and now all of a sudden we're gonna come in and clean you at the end of it. Even if they don't steal away the fire there, that's a great fight. They kill at least 3 people, you know? They do end up getting the delayed deicide, but they killed all 3 of those damage dealers.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that all 3 members of the Gunshow that died there immediately was in one go to a Raijin, and Raijin's not a big burst character. He's very much good at poking and just doing sustained damage throughout the team fight. The fact that all 3 of them died at the same time just makes you realize how low they were from that aggression from the Vibe Tribe. Great synergy on their half, and Shoguns, they've still got to put in a lot more work, but they put in much more of a fight so far. But how do you think they need to carry on to keep winning these fights now?
Yeah, I mean, Gunshow Shogun's certainly struggling. I think that they need to just play a little bit further back. They need to realize, hey, right now Vibe Tribe is in the driver's seat. We're just along for the ride, so get comfy. You have that Merlin. You have some of the best siege defense in the game with that Merlin. You know, you have a Horus that can just hit 1 CC into a Kraken. You have a lot of options, but right now you just have to be careful because staggering a couple deaths could end the game at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Freaky's been putting in so much work for the Showguns, as has What My Assai. I mean, What My Assai is topping the damage charts by a large amount, next on the board being the Raijin. It's very difficult for you to find faults in how the Gunshow are playing, because they have been playing extremely well so far. They had such an early advantage. It's just all been going downhill for them around these objective fights. Ko-Fi are going to opt towards the beacon, try and get that Titan online, and try and do the same thing they did in the game 1. Meanwhile, we see the Wukong zoning on the right side of the map.
Yeah, definitely looking to push that wave up as far as they can. Going to go ahead and knock down that Primal Fury while, you know, there's a little bit of the fight on the beacon. And just great play. They knock down the towers in that solo lane and that mid lane, so guess where that Titan's going to be going?
Down the left lane, that
Down
1
the left
HP
lane.
tier 1 tower.
Going to be going down that left lane, and which Phoenix do you want to kill if you have any?
You definitely want to kill that left lane Phoenix. The best Phoenix in the defense game.
Yep, so I love to kind of see that awareness. I certainly hope that was intentional, because it makes them look really good. You know, they clear the map just to be able to launch that Titan down the left. But, I mean, will they be able to have that same success when they're not, you know, trying to clean up these fights after an objective?
Yeah, and that's going to be what it comes down to, especially during these team fights. We do see that level deficits kind of come into play. We see a 4-level lead in the jungle and a 3-level lead on the supports. So it's going to be very difficult for that kind of frontline dive and the backline support for the Shoguns to get into these fights, but they have to rely on Fried and Assai for that shred. As soon as these Titans clash, I'm pretty certain that Chaos Titan is going to die faster. Even with the advances that Vibe Tribe has, I think just with the damage output, like the damage potential that the Gunshow have, it's going to be difficult for them to get in. It's just a question of, can they step up? Because that's going to be the big fight decider. If one of them steps up and dies immediately to the Vibe Tribe, that's a catalyst for death.
Yeah, speaking of stepping up, we see ADC versus Jungler over on this right side. Ravana trying to put a little bit of pressure away from his team, and that Order side Titan falls incredibly fast, not able to get too much. Summon 6 comes out, team using the speed boost to get in there.
Oh man, huge forces the beads. They're looking for everything. A good Osiris ult stops the aggression, but he's got to tell on to 3 people. He's keeping the entire backline at bay. Meanwhile, Wukong up in the air in Somersault Cloud. He's going to try and disengage, so no kills, but there's still a half HP Titan walking up this left lane. And the Gunshow Shoguns actually still have a fair amount of survivability coming into this fight, but they're going to do a little bit of a soft defense on this tier 2. They need to be a little bit careful, just trying to poke out some damage. But this could all flip in the second. Aegis pop from Poseidon, looking for something, finds the Horus with a Tiger Stun, but Horus going to get away pretty safe as the Titan walks into the Phoenix room. It dies pretty much immediately, but the Vibe Tribe still have the aggressive lead. They're looking for it with 4 members there. Meanwhile, Wukong and the ISO on this Raven are still fighting over in the right side.
Yeah, I do love the swap up, you know, sending Rogue over there to give Asai a chance to get over there on the defense. I think that was really why that Titan fight went the way that it did.
Yeah.
Instead of having your ADC over there to do damage, you know, they're over there defending against a jungler where if you're not engaging in a fight, the jungler's not doing much, you know? He's just kind of sitting on the sidelines saying, hey, guys, are we going in yet? So definitely good play from the Vibe Tribe, force that little bit of an inequality, and good on the Vibe Tribe as well for saying, hey, we don't have fire, we don't have a Titan, we can't even think about pushing this bird.
Yeah, but this does mean that the Fire Giant is going to be up for grabs once again by both teams. The Vibe Tribe opt to back away and take the Pyromancer, get another running bomb online in the hands of ISO, and as we've seen in split pushing, it makes a lot of sense. But with some of the members of Vibe Tribe backing, this means that Gunshow have the aggressive potential to take this Fire Giant, as Izakor is looking for a way in, just trying to show his face and keep them from going full send, but the Gunshow are not to be dissuaded just yet. Everyone, I think it's just the start of the usual fire dances, I think that's just what this comes down to, is how long is this fire dance going to be before someone falls. But I think Freaky is looking for something, finds the fracture onto Izakor, the Poseidon is looking for the damage. Izuku's getting absolutely shredded. Ups, down, finds 3, but with a Kraken, he's staying alive a little bit longer than he expected, but unfortunately falls to fried ice cream. That is the go button for the Shoguns. Styx comes in, finding a lot onto the Shoguns. But with everyone in the backline, ISO is looking for some damage onto Wamayasa. He finally takes him out with the ADC down. That's perfect, but the Fracture connects, dodges, sidesteps the Merlin damage. ISO staying alive and is forcing both Freaky and Rogue to back away. The Shoguns, they take one out in Izuku with a good pincer maneuver, and they force the Vibe Tribe to have to back as well. But they are going to try and take the Fire Giant with the help of 3 members. Dips with the loop. Very unhealthy as the Merlin stays around, might try and find some good cleanup kill. No secure, no steal, just try and take some kills, I think. And there we go, throwing out some damage to Dipspit, trying to find something, and it's forcing a bit of a disengage.
Yeah, certainly doing his best to just harass this Izanami and Raijin. If he can get them away from there, they can't really take this as well as they might want to. Shogun able to steal it. Great play from Fried Ice Cream. Rogue Warrior on the back end picking up Get That Critter. And that is a great steal from Gunshow Shoguns. That gets them back into this game. They might be down, but they are certainly not out.
The Vibe Tribe disrespected the Shoguns. The Merlin was in their face the entire time, bobbing and weaving, trying to just harass the Izanami, but they paid no mind to it. Let him walk in, put the hailstorm down, and he takes it away with the ticks, just as Rogue Warrior comes into the backline with a teleport and gets a kill onto the Raijin. That is perfectly played by the Shoguns to get back into these fights. Takes away that Fire Giant, and this gives them the potential to go for some tower sweeps.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, they knock down 5 towers. We could be looking at a game that's, 2,000-3,000 off if they're able to successfully get those towers down. Now, this isn't EFG. They are still down, about 9k, 10k, realistically, because, a lot of that money's going to be in their pockets. So, still going to have to be very careful here.
Speaking of being careful, ISO is looking to try and get some zoning potential. Styx comes in, finds 3 members as they walk down. Vibe Tribe take that Pyro Fury away, and the go button is pop. Frenzy for the Shoguns. They're looking for some damage. Wamayasai 1v1ing ISO in the backline. Look for some damage with the group up. That's everything they can do. ISO Mystic Rush connects. The Charybdis is the first to fall. Taiko Drums is finding the taunts perfectly. Freaky G the next to die. Critter takes out Fried Ice Cream. Somersault Cloud finds the mark onto 3 people, and he takes the return onto ISO and then birds away. No harm, no foul for this Wukong. And it's only Shrimp left around in the vicinity. He's going to back away pretty quickly. Knows that he could be in danger any moment now, with 4 members of Vibe Tribe still there, but only half HP across the board. They know they can't push for any more Phoenixes. The Shoguns, they took a bit of a risky fight, but it effectively paid off. They forced it so Vibe Tribe can't take everything away from them.
They can't take everything away, but they do take away 4 of those Fire Giant buffs, effectively stopping the Gunshow Shoguns from being able to flip this lead. Just an unfortunate fight. Like you were talking about in Game 1, Freaky G has a tendency to get, a little overzealous, a little over-aggressive, and he pays, 80% of his life bar right at the start of that fight before, anybody else is exchanging blows, and Vibe Tribe see that as their go sign. They say, oh, okay, their support's low, well, he can't peel for the rest of them, we're just going to get in there, and the coordination from Izakor and ISO just comes out in full show, dive the backline very well, and they just are almost unstoppable in these fights.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 3rd time I've seen it now where ISO has really got his target priority cut out. He realizes how much that Asai is doing in these team fights for the Shoguns, and he solos him out. Just constantly puts the pressure in the backline, forces him to step away from the rest of the team to take that fight. Does a little bit of baiting here and there. Doesn't want to lose his life to the 1v1, because, crit does go burr. But is able to willingly put the rest of the fight into Iza's hands. Like you said, when you've got an Osiris bullying the Merlin and Poseidon, that's really dangerous for the Shoguns to go in. And with no damage dealers focusing on everyone else in front of you, everyone else is going to fall behind. Luckily, Shrimp and Rogue do stay alive to keep that game going. But the Vibe Tribe, they actually have a battle tactic going into these fights. The Shoguns do not have that just yet. They are just trying to throw abilities and hope for the best. I don't see target prioritization. I just try and see them try and take what they can. I think that's where the struggle comes in. Like you said, Freaky plays very aggressively, but he's acting like the zoner. He's acting like a jungle or a solo, and that's leaving their very squishy people in the backline pretty much alone.
Yeah, certainly need to see a little bit of strategy come out from the Showguns in these team fights. Just like you're talking about, Vibe Tribe has their formula. They know what they want to do and they know how they can do it. Meanwhile, Gunshow just aren't lost, but they're playing more as 5 individuals than as a team of 5.
Speaking of playing as a team of 5, as we look towards this siege defense of 5 members strong in that mid Phoenix for Gunshow Shoguns, but look who's on the right side of the map. ISO with a runic bomb is looking to take that Phoenix by himself. Looks like Shrimp has finally noticed, and he's going to make that rotation over, along with the bird as well. They're going to force that Raven to disengage. The Vibe Tribe in general is just going to disengage fully. Looks like they might want to try towards this enhanced Fire Giant.
Yeah, I mean, without an EFG, it's not really a good idea to siege into that Merlin, into that Horus. Going to certainly struggle with that. But they have this Oni Fury coming up. They have this enhanced Fire Giant. They have, 3/4 of Freaky G's health bar to knock down real quick.
Freaky definitely stepping up with no repercussions there until it was a little bit too late, and the Vibe tried to knock him out and force him to back away. He's going to heal up a little bit. He is a Horus after all, but the fight is going to break out as the Fracture tries to find ISO looking for something, but they can't find anything just yet. Freaky's still a little bit too low. A good 2 from the Karen gives them a little bit of a health buffer, but Rogue Warrior in the backline gets shredded by all 4. Tycho Drums is going to do enough to get Freaky G out the map. Dipspit for Lube is looking for Shrimp Warrior, takes out the jungle. That's 3 for no one just yet, but Dipspit 1 HP on the verge of death themselves is going to have to back away. Going to try and heal up, but Asai and Fried Ice Cream, the 2 people you want alive, they get dived on with a great 2-man stun by Osiris, looking for a little bit more, zoning the best of his life as the Vibe Tribe take down this enhanced Fire Giant pretty freely. Osiris doing his job as a solo, and it's all in the Vibe Tribe's court. It's their game to lose right now.
Yeah, definitely Vibe Tribe's game to lose at this point. I mean, they're going to realistically have to make some mistakes for the Showguns to win at this point. I mean, they certainly have a comp that is capable of dealing with this, but we need to see a little bit more from them come out on these defensive fights if they are to win and bring this to a game 3.
If Freaky's able to get in and find one of their backliners, the Izza or the Raijin, or even ISO, you're able to just shut them down with the Fracture Kraken combo. Or Fracture and just the absolute shred of a Merlin damage, because it's hard to escape Merlin damage once it's on you. If they're able to just work together and calling the CC, because right now it looks like Freaky isn't really communicating when he's going in on the Fracture. If you just start communicating who you're looking at, and whether it connects or not, that's going to give the Gunshow just a huge advantage in some of these fights. But that fight wasn't even down to Freaky. That was Rogue Warrior going into the backline and instantly deleted. And that was just the go button for the Vibe Tribe.
Yeah, unfortunately just underestimates the damage from Dipspit for Lube, underestimates the self-sustain with that Death's Embrace Devos combo. I mean, you saw he was, maybe 50 health walking away from that fight?
Yeah.
And then he was instantly able to just, I'm going to walk into FG and, knock it down just fine because I have Death's Embrace. I mean, he healed up nearly to full while just fighting the FG, so a lot of sustain comes out from there that might not be predicting.
The Vibe Tribe are looking to take this left of Phoenix, but with everyone on the Gunshow Shoguns around, it's going to be EFG versus non-EFG. But the Phoenix is already 25% HP. Neither team wants to get too much. The Frenzy comes out. Kraken is pop, but doesn't find anyone. Mystic Rush slaps down the Poseidon, but Rogue Warrior is going to take out Dipspit for Loot. That's an ADC down. Meanwhile, ISO in the backline takes out another. Get that critter, takes out Rogue Warrior. Osiris doesn't connect. Charybdis using the 3 to keep alive. ISO with a triple kill in the very far backline. That's a deicide for the Vibe Tribe. Sure, they lose their ADC, but that doesn't matter when there's 4 members with EFG going into that Titan room. This is an end call. I've ever seen it with some minions conveniently in the way. I think this is game for the Vibe Tribe as that Titan health bar falls.
Good 2-game set from Vibe Tribe, just really well played, We see coordinated dive. We see great team fights. It's ISO just gets in that backline and he picks up 3 kills in that fight. While, Gunshow Shoguns are a little preoccupied trying to move forward into what they think is a good fight. Going back into the Vibe Tribe, and they're just not able to get what they want. Vibe Tribe splits the fight from both sides and just gets themselves a nice, clean 2-0 victory.
Yeah, and that's all it took for the Vibe Tribe to progress into the semi-finals. I'm not sure who their opponents are going to be for those semis, but they have eliminated the Shoguns from the Walker division this season. Better luck next time with the drafts. But that is going to be it from us on the cast. Then we do have more matches planned for you over the next few days. We're not going to be casting too much over the weekend, with it being Christmas Eve. We don't want to take you away from your families or broadcast anything like that. But I hope you've enjoyed the cast for tonight, and I hope you enjoyed the ones that are coming up. I've been Sparktar. I've been joined by Ruler of Men and the Wolfie Pup. Please join us next time. Goodbye.